Hello, this is lesson 6C, finding the mean. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the mean and what that word is. I know it can be say like you're a mean person, but in the world of math, another name for that is average. Okay, so today we're going to talk about finding the mean, but it's the same thing as finding the average. And if you think about it, the word average is out there a lot. You might see batting average, or the average height, or someone's the average shoe size, or there are lots of different ways you might see the word average used. So this is what they mean when they talk about average. So to find the mean of the ages for the Apollo pilots given above, add their ages, then divide by 7 the number of pilots. So if you look at this, here is the mission pilots. There's Apollo 11, Apollo 12, 13, 14, and here's the pilots' ages on the second row. So you can see they range anywhere from 36 to like 41. Okay, so if you wanted to find the average of those and say the average pilot's age of Apollo missions, you would add them all up. So I'd take the 39 plus the 37 plus the 36 plus the 40 plus the 41 plus the 36 plus the 37, and then you're going to divide it by 7. You see that kind of looks like a fraction, right? But remember, this means division, okay? If you divide it by 7, put that in your calculator, you will get 38. So the answer, the mean of the Apollo's pilots' ages is 38. So let's try another example. So for the practice and the mastery check for this, you will be finding the mean of the data. So to do that, you're always going to take the data and you're going to add it up. Okay, so here we took 20 plus 25 plus 25 plus 20 plus 25. And then I divide that by 5, and you're thinking, where did that 5 come from? I don't see that anywhere in my problem. So what that is, and just like the pilots, it's the number of numbers you are adding together. So we have number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's where I get my 5. So if I added that, I would get 115 divided by 5, and the mean of the data would be 23. Let's try another one. Here's another set of data. So again, I have 14, 17, 9, 2, 4, 10, 5, 3. And what I would do is I'd add that up. I'd count my numbers. How many numbers do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So since I'm adding 8 numbers, I'm dividing it by 8. I take 64 divided by 8, and I would get 8. I think they made a little typo here with this 67. Okay. The mean is 8. So it's your turn. Go ahead and pause the video. Find the mean of the data. Great. Let's see how you did. So you added up all the numbers. You would divide by 7 because there's 7 numbers. And you should have gotten 90. So the answer is, the mean is 90. Great. You can go ahead if you wanted to try another one. You can pause the video. Okay, let's see if you did it correctly. You would add up those numbers, divide by 6, and you would get 45. Okay, so I wanted to show you what your assignment will look like today. And here it is. It's called Skills Practice on Mean. So I'm just going to show you the first one. You would take, let's see, 16 plus 11 plus 15 plus 4, okay? And you would add up those numbers and you get 36. Okay, so if you have your paper out in front of you, you'd want to pause the video and fill this in. Then you take 36, divide by 4, and you would get 9. So the mean is 9. So again, we're adding up the numbers and dividing it by how many numbers there are. There are 4 numbers that we added, so we divide by 4. So you will go ahead and complete the rest of these problems, but I really wanted to look at number 10. Okay, so as you're looking at number 10, it's set up a little bit differently than other problems. So as you can see here, they already found the mean for us, but we're missing one of the data sets. So I'm going to make that n. I'm missing that number. I know the numbers are 5, 11, 2, and n. So to do these 4 problems, you're going to have to think kind of like backwards, like we were when you did algebra. Or how do I figure out what that number is? So what we did originally is we added numbers together. So I added my numbers together so I can write it out like this. But I don't know the 4th number, but I know it's n. So that's, we can use n as stick it there. I know I divided it by 4 because that's how many numbers I had. And then I knew the mean equaled 7. So even though you're doing it the same way, okay? So then you can see that I added these up and divide. So instead of divide, I am going to multiply this, okay? So just like you would when you did algebra, you multiply both sides by 4. So I have 5 plus 11 plus 2. So 11, 12, 13, 18. So now I have, I'm just going to write down here, 18 plus some number is going to get me, what is 7 times 4? 28. And I know what this number is because I'm going to subtract 18 from both sides. And my n would equal 10. So for the other 3 problems, you're going to have to set it up. You're going to have to say what number and n. So first you're going to multiply, instead of divide, and then you're going to subtract. So instead of adding and dividing, you're multiplying and subtracting. So you're doing the opposite, which is what we talked about a lot if you had algebra. Even if you didn't have algebra, sometimes you have to work a problem the opposite way to get the answer. And this is how you'd work. So that's how you would do 10, 11, 12, and 13. Okay, then there are some word problems on the back of your sheet. Okay, and the only one that you're going to have to do the similar to this is number 3. Otherwise, the rest of them are just finding the mean. Okay, so you can go ahead and correct that, do this, and then once you are done with this and it gets turned in, then you would be ready for the mastery check.